Well, money needs to find a home, and it's found a home in Bitcoin.
Something unusual is happening today with Bitcoin. Political activist Charlie Kirk is on record that literally the wealthiest families on the planet are starting to park serious money in Bitcoin.
The reason why I think we should have a strategic Bitcoin reserve, I know you guys had Michael Saylor on your show, and I think he's onto something. There is something called like the mass adoption theory, which is over a period of time, like the English language, US dollar, things just catch on and they're just kind of volitional and there's no stopping it. I think Bitcoin is that.
Yet price, around $100,000 per coin, isn't moving up.
You gotta watch out though. Quantum computing could potentially crack cryptography.
But if they do that, then they're also cracking bank accounts.
Right.
And stock trading accounts.
So quantum is the only asterisk on all this. But I think Saylor's onto something very profound, which is that...
I mean, this crypto bull run is global. There's no question. Here's investing legend Hugh Hendry stating, "This is your last chance. Bitcoin is going to trade closer to $1 million. Sounds like he watches Altcoin daily.
It's just performed really, really well in a risk-off episode. I'm thinking of selling this house. I could sell this for 30, 35 million. I want to get 10 million into Bitcoin because I think this is your last chance. It's going to trade closer to $1 million. It's going to trade at a capitalization greater to gold. And when it trades at $1 million, Bitcoin is boring. It's gold. But it's not. It's Bitcoin is so...
But why isn't price moving?
But I think Saylor's onto something very profound, which is that because Bitcoin is a scarce, legitimately scarce resource, that it's probably going to go nowhere but up.
I mean, it's ranging. For every buyer, there's a seller. We are ranging, but why can't we break above 100,000, well past that per coin?
So Saylor makes a very provocative argument that Bitcoin could go up 10x over the next 10 years or something like that, which therefore if we start a Bitcoin strategic reserve, it could like pay for the national debt and like basically cover our losses on the deficit. But I think that I think the United States government should be invested in crypto without a doubt.
I tend to agree with Michael Saylor that it's more likely to go to $1 million than zero.
Yes, I think that's right.
There's something odd happening with price, something they're not telling us. I mean, the institutional buying is clear. The Bitcoin ETFs, huge volumes, huge success, huge buying. That's in total. But even recently, the Bitcoin ETFs haven't seen a red day since June 6th. It's almost been a month of straight accumulation. This asset is a ticking time bomb. So what do I need to know? What's preventing this next leg upwards? Click subscribe to Altcoin Daily for an edge investing in crypto. There's 1.62 million subscribers of Altcoin Daily and growing. And in this exclusive clip I just shared on our Altcoin Daily X account, link down below, literally posted this 2 seconds ago, Tom Lee explains the real reason price isn't moving for Bitcoin. I loved this explanation.
We know Bitcoin ETFs are the most successful product launch in history. And then someone says, well, if you're going to collect that much money, Bitcoin goes to the moon. But it turns out Bitcoin's risen, but it's kind of churned. I think what happened is a couple things. One is a lot of these ETFs may have been receiving in-kind exchange. So people have their crypto keys, give it to the ETF provider, and then they just stepped up their basis. So that's not going to push up the price of Bitcoin. It adds to their AUM. It's a wash. Yes, it's a wash.
So essentially what Tom Lee just said is, even though assets under management for the spot Bitcoin ETFs are going up, that does not necessarily mean new Bitcoin off the open market is being bought. Some is definitely being bought, but also some is large whales or large entities essentially turning their Bitcoin over into putting their Bitcoin in the spot Bitcoin ETF so the institution can manage, meaning they don't have to worry about the management anymore. Somebody else worries about custody. And those numbers show in the spot Bitcoin ETF assets under management, but it's not new Bitcoin being bought. It's just, hey, you hold this now, and now it counts under you, even though it's still owned by me.
And the second is that the ones who aren't involved in ETFs, but maybe they have $10 Bitcoin, we have clients that have bought Bitcoin at $100, and now it's 100,000. They're not looking to they don't care if Bitcoin goes to a million. They are probably sellers at around 100,000. So we're churning the base now because 95% of the institutional world doesn't own Bitcoin, but a very significant portion of Bitcoin holders are sitting on huge gains. So I think this is the churn that's happening in Bitcoin now.
So don't expect price to go up until sellers are exhausted. And Bitcoin has over 15 years of buyers who are now some of them sellers that need to be exhausted, meaning people were accumulating for years and decades, bought it much lower. And because $100,000 per coin is such a psychological level, they're willing to take some profits. Maybe not 100%, but if you bought 10 Bitcoin for $500 each back in the day, maybe at 100K per BTC, sell 5, keep 5. And by the way, the amount of sellers waiting or willing to sell is finite. The amount of potential buyers who still don't have Bitcoin is near infinite. Notice what happened when the price dipped too far, too low, immediately got bought back up again. You know what comes next. By the way, big shout out to new exchange partner of the channel, WEEX. If you are a crypto trader, exclusive opportunity just for the Altcoin daily community, trade on WEEX and earn up to $30,000 in bonuses, and sign up right now, or for limited time, with code Altcoin, get a $100 bonus immediately and instantly get VIP2 status. Meaning everybody watching today, if you want $100 instantly to put into Bitcoin, to put in your favorite altcoin, use code Altcoin. And to finish with this clip from a podcast which I love, the Iced Coffee Hour with Graham Stephan, Charlie Kirk literally explains why the wealthiest families on the planet are starting to park big money into Bitcoin.
And by the way, so you have a problem of the world's richest people.
But I do just want to be clear that the Bitcoin bull run of 2025, 2026 is not a lie. Many fundamental metrics show it's happening. It's just not always going to be so clear on metrics that the mainstream media shares with you. I will always share with you all the information so you can make the best decision for you as an investor. But if there was any doubt that major entities will continue or haven't yet hardly even started putting big money into Bitcoin, I encourage you to watch this clip and send it to a friend.
And by the way, so you have a problem of the world's richest people. They don't know where to put their money. So there's only so many penthouses in London and Paris that they could buy. There's only so many ranches in Wyoming that they could buy. And so we had this problem. So you create all this money, the money goes upwards to wealth inequality point. To your earlier point, the question is then, well, what do rich people do with money? There's only so many equities they can buy. There's only so many shares in NVIDIA and Apple and Microsoft they could justify. Well, money needs to find a home, and it's found a home in Bitcoin. And so once it has mass adoption, and literally the wealthiest families on the planet are starting to park serious monies in Bitcoin. And because it's scarce, it's easy to transfer, and it's just a winner. Sometimes there's a mass adoption and it just rises to the surface, and I think Bitcoin is that.
Reading the comment section now, responding to as many as I can. Like always, see you tomorrow.